I'm Education Lead at MetricsDAO. Really excited to be bringing Near 101 webinar to you today. We're going to start in a minute. Okay, jam, everyone. If you're here, do let us know in the chat. Very excited to be bringing something to you today, and let's start. So today we're going to be talking about Near. The intention of this webinar is to give you a foundational understanding of everything you need to do to know about the Near blockchain, its key capabilities, what's waiting for it in the future, and how its ecosystem is looking like. So let's start. But before we even kick off this webinar today, I wanted to just give you a quick introduction on MetricsDAO so that you are aware of who is bringing this webinar to you. So at MetricsDAO, we are first and foremost a community. We are a community of amazing data analysts, and we are focusing as a community in providing Web3 organizations on-demand data insights and tooling. And we have amazing people here as well. I see out in the community, in the chat. So yeah, really awesome to see you coming back and participating. Other than our focus on providing organizations with data insights, we are also very much focusing on skilling our community members in various data analytics insights, as well as various ecosystems that we are partnering with, including here. So at the moment, we have a bunch of exciting courses available that you can go and check out. They all are free, and you can find them in our platform. So we're actually going to share now the link in the chat where you can find all the different courses that are available. And I really encourage you to sign up if you're interested in any of them. Again, they are free. So at the moment, we do have courses like Web3 Analytics 101, both synchronous and synchronous. So we are going to have a live cohort setting 28th of February. We do have as well, if you're an Algorithm 101 courses available on the platform. So if you are interested in learning more about these two ecosystems, we really encourage you to check them out. Other than that, we will be having a bunch of new courses coming out, including Near, Cosmos, and Solana synchronous courses. So today, you are watching a Near webinar, but this webinar is going to be followed by a course. So do ensure to sign up. We are actually going to be sharing as well a link here in the chat for you to sign up to this course. If you sign up to the course, we as well are going to give you some Xmetric tokens. And we're going to give you special access in our Discord server to the Near channel, where you're going to be able to have further conversations with other people interested in Near, get the latest course updates, be the first one to learn when the course goes live, and as well as other opportunities that will be brought by MetricsDAO. And again, we are a community, so we're really trying to encourage connection and just talking in our Discord server. So it's a great place to connect with the community. And other than that, we're also going to be launching Web3 analytics programs. So if you are already gone through our 101 program, we are going to soon open a new 201 cohort, as well as some other programs following that. So do get involved in the community, join our Discord server to be the first one to hear when these different programs are going to be launched. Other than our educational programs, we are very much focusing on analytic challenges. So we are working with various different Web3 organizations that are providing you guys with analytic challenges that you can actually participate in and even get rewarded for if you actually are if you create one of the best dashboards. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved in our analytics challenges. So if you already have the skills in Web3 data analytics, I would really encourage you to check out the analytics challenges. And if you want to get some education and actually learn about Web3 data analytics first, before you venture into those challenges, I'd really encourage you to check out our educational programs. And also, we do actually have amazing success stories, people who even land full-time jobs or even joined the DAO as a contributor after finishing our education programs. So that there's a lot of opportunities out there nowadays for the free data analysts. But what about you? Would love to learn if any of you are actually in analytics, or if you're not, that's fine too. Would love to learn what's your background. You're from our marketing or web development. So let us know in the chat. Love to learn who today we have in the community. Right, but enough about MetricsDAO. Now let's jump into the topic. Now let's start talking about NEAR, and this is what this webinar is really about. So today we are not going to be focusing on something very, very technical or something very complicated. Today's webinar is a primer to give you a foundational overview of the NEAR ecosystem and some of the key technologies that we see. But before we even head into the topic of NEAR, I just wanted to give a quick overview of Ethereum. So we already had some webinars on Ethereum, and we have a course. So if you're interested in actually joining the course and learning more about Ethereum, you're welcome to. But the key here is that Ethereum was the first blockchain that was created for developers to be creating and building centralized apps on. So Ethereum really created these breeding grounds for all the different blockchains that we see today. Because with Bitcoin, the only big use case that we saw is for people to be able to transfer money in a centralized way. But now Ethereum is really trying to decentralize the internet. And now all the different blockchains that came after as well are kind of having a similar vision, including NEAR. So, but then Ethereum was created. There have been some fundamental problems there, which is that it's very expensive and slow to execute transactions. There's a lot of scalability issues. So that's why now all the kind of other blockchains that came after Ethereum are trying to see how can we actually ensure that our blockchains don't have these scalability issues that Ethereum has, and how can we ensure that the transactions that are happening on the network are cheap and really fast. So this is as well what NEAR has done. And we're actually going to look deeper into how it's done it. But it has really created a wonderful system for ensuring that the technology is scalable. And another core focus of NEAR that actually has differentiated it from other blockchains is that it's really focusing on usability, and it's really focusing on seeing how can we actually onboard new audiences onto the blockchain system, because ultimately, if you want to get mass adoption, if you want to get new people on to using these apps that are not technical, we need to ensure that these apps have friendly user interfaces. And we have seen that most of the blockchain applications nowadays are not really friendly to people that are just starting out in the blockchain space. And we want to ensure that people are able to get onboarded and be using these applications with ease. But to give you just an overview as well of like what NEAR really is about and what some of the innovations that it has brought into the space is that it's first have this unique scaling mechanism called sharding. So, and again, it makes it easy to onboard new users. Also, it is a layer one blockchain, which means it's not dependent on other chains. So Ethereum is another layer one example, Solana, Avalanche, etc. So all the blockchains do have some form of a consensus mechanism. Most of the blockchains nowadays will have proof of stake consensus mechanism. And we know that Ethereum actually itself has recently moved to its own proof of stake consensus mechanism as well. However, these consensus mechanisms do differ blockchain to blockchain. And NEAR as well has created its own unique consensus mechanism, which is delegated proof of stake. And it's using a unique sharding mechanism, which is called Unchained. And this sharding mechanism is what allows NEAR to be as scalable as it is. So looking into the inception of NEAR and how it even was founded, it was actually founded by two people that were both kind of working purposely for big tech, but two companies like Microsoft and Google. And they were kind of engaged there in software engineering, so they both were kind of technical and developer background. So they actually did go to Y Combinator, and they actually had a lot of success before even kind of really launching anything. They managed to raise 50 million in just 4 months. So they really were great in communicating their vision, and also written a very beautiful white paper where they outlined the technology in a way that people started really believing in it, and that it can actually become a thing. And it has become a thing. And we're going to see actually how big has NEAR become and what some of the interesting use cases that are out there later. But NEAR is actually really new. It only launched in mainnet in 2020. So it's really just a couple of years old. So just might as well to highlight that we are very, very, very early right now and where the blockchain space is, but especially where NEAR is at the moment. So it's really just a new startup if you're looking into it that way. But looking into what has been created over this couple of years is really, really remarkable. And if we are going to continue with this speed, it's hard to imagine, what NEAR actually can become in the future, because it's actually really hard with the to imagine the blockchain limitations, since there are so many different ways, and how can we actually update the blockchain, continue evolving its infrastructure. So there's really just as hard to imagine its limitations. Right. So now let's look a little bit more into the unique consensus mechanism that we spoke about, and that we said is really a unique innovation that NEAR has brought into the blockchain space. So this new technology that it has brought is called Nightshade. And the key here and how it works is that it splits the blockchain into many parts called shards. And then each of these shards will have 100 seeds. And then in each seed, there will be a validator. So imagine there's many shards, 100 seeds, and in each seed there's a validator. And essentially, as more validators participate, all their validators are incentivized to make new shards. So then these validators are actually the ones that are making new shards. So we have a lot of different validators that are actually contributing to this consensus mechanism called Nightshade, created by NEAR Network. So also we can call it a base system, which means that all dApps and services created with its help are on top of the underlying NEAR layer. Also here, another thing which also is really important for scalability is that through a sharding system, there's no limitations as of how much NEAR can scale. So Near is not going to face a scalability issue that, let's say, Near or some of the other blockchains is facing. Also, another key part of it that it is really highly flexible. And one of the key actually pieces to understand when we're looking into blockchain and when we are assessing or even understanding, how much blockchain can grow, and how its ecosystem is looking like. It's looking what is the developer experience, how easy it is to develop on here, how is the support for the developer community, how are the docs looking, how well is the blockchain supporting the development on it, because ultimately they need to be creating a really good breeding ground for developers, because these are the people that are going to scale the blockchain, create new use cases for it, and ultimately then break it into mass adoption. And this is one of the things that Near is looking for, and Near is actually doing a great job in terms of creating a good developer experience. So to talk about Sharding a little bit more, because again, this is just the key about Near, and this is the key innovation that Near has brought into the space, is that not every node has to run all the code. So in some of the blockchains, every node has to run all the code, and in this case, Sharding splits the network so computation can be done in parallel, and that's again what, as well as enabling the Near blockchain to be able to scale indefinitely. So also we can look into that perspective of chunks. So as well, the code is segmented into chunks, and each chunk is actually run on a single node, and these nodes are operating parallel to each other. Okay, but what does that mean? What does that mean, having the sharding mechanism, and what it actually ultimately allows for it to become and do? So it improves scalability and ensures, that scalability is infinite, which is something that we just touched upon. Also, it ensures that the transaction speeds are actually really, really fast. And it's because the shard processes its own subset of transactions in parallel. And also, it ensures higher throughput. So the sharding mechanism allows to achieve higher levels of it. Or like in other words, we actually can have a huge number of transactions that never can process per second. So transaction speed per second is also like a key terminology to understand or looking into, how efficient or effective a blockchain network is, and Near is just really doing well in that regard. Also, this makes it easy to build decentralized applications, because we actually have really, good developer experience. We had it's cheap to build applications in Near. It's fast, we can do all the different transactions really fast way. Also, it does ensure a great experience, and it's especially important for people that are just starting out and are maybe new users in the blockchain space. And again, scaling is a critical piece here, and it allows us to actually scale and build applications seamlessly. Right. So now we're going to be looking into some of the other pieces of the Near ecosystem that actually allows it to scale and allows it to grow and evolve. So another key piece of Near ecosystem is called Aurora. And Aurora, I actually can Google it. It's an application. We have a website if you're interested to learn further. So it's a layer 2 scaling solution. So for example, Polygon is a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum. Aurora is a layer 2 scaling solution for Near. It's the main layer 2 scaling solution that the Near ecosystem has. And we can look into it as a smart contract on the Near chain and matching. But here, the critical piece about it and what it allows is that it is Ethereum virtual machine compatible. And one of the things that is important when we look into the blockchain space is interoperability. So how well can different blockchains speak to each other? So if a blockchain does not have a way to, let's say, interact well with Ethereum blockchain, which is at the moment the Twitter blockchain out there, it might be problematic, for it to scale. So Aurora has made it easier for developers to replicate their apps from Ethereum to Near and vice versa. So this allows maybe if Ethereum app wants to scale onto Near, or if Near app wants to scale on Ethereum, then this Aurora system actually allows that to happen. So that's a very, very important piece of Near ecosystem. Another important thing here when it comes to connecting Ethereum and Near is its Rainbow Bridge. So it's a bridge that supports the Aurora ecosystem. And it's a bridging system that essentially connects the two, Ethereum and Near. And also, actually, you can use it yourself if you want. You can try using Rainbow Bridge. And if you want to understand how it works, it's a good way to actually go and test out for yourself. But essentially, what you can do here is you can actually transfer, you can essentially connect your MetaMask wallet to, Aurora, and you can essentially transfer it to the Aurora network. So you can easily transfer the Ethereum tokens into the Aurora network or vice versa. So it's actually very, very easy to use. It has a great user interface. And again, this is something that Near is really trying to focus on. How can we actually create user interfaces that would be really simple to use, even for people that maybe have not interacted with the blockchain network before. Another part of the ecosystem, which it's quite important to know if you want to understand what's happening in the network, is Explorer.near. So Explorer.near is a website that allows you to essentially check the different transactions that are happening in the network. So you can see actually what's the current status in the network, and you can also track the status of the different transactions in the different wallets. You can also see, how many transactions happening in the network, and you can even see, what is the current situation with the nodes, how many nodes are currently behind, and how many nodes are actually validating the consensus mechanism that Near has brought. So we can see that at the moment, almost 200 validators are actually validating the network. Another part of the ecosystem is actually wallet. So know that generally blockchains will have their own wallets, and that are the most popular to use. And Near, has MetaMask. Then, for example, Cosmos has Club, and Near has Near Wallet. So Near Wallet is essentially, it's a place to buy or to sell, to transact, it's Near, and it's incredibly easy to use. And one of the things here that you can do in a very easy way is you can actually have, instead of the huge string of numbers as your public wallet address, you can actually have your name. So I actually also put my name. My name is Lida. So put Lida.near as my wallet address. So that as well makes it easier for new users, and you can also just interact with it yourself. It is quite different from a typical experience. I do have to say that it doesn't have a browser in section, which is a bit of a limitation here. But other than that, it is very, very easy to create. You can also use your email if you want to kind of secure your wallet and create your wallet, which is not, this is not a secure way to be securing your wallet through an email. But for new users that are actually just trying out, just having being able not to have these huge seed phrases, but just have the ability to connect their email is actually, as well as a way, and it might make it less intimidating to actually, get on the blockchain space. So again, Near is focusing, okay, how can we actually, reach the masses? But if you want to actually, have that security and have a seed phrases system and do that. So it's really up to you to decide. But it's nice that you're able to blockchain is really the choice. Right. Another kind of part of the Near ecosystem is called Near Collective. Near Collective essentially is composed of different guilds and groups of people who are running the Near protocol. And Near is actually it has a decentralized governance system, meaning that all the different stakeholders, which can be people like innovators, developers, contributors, can come and support and contribute in the protocol development, actually raise their voice and make the contribute to decision making as of what's going to be happening with the protocol in the future. Also, here's just a slide to showcase you some of the kind of key important things about Near ecosystem. We are going to look a bit deeper into examples, but just to showcase you, there's actually 3 things that Near is really focusing on when it comes to use cases and where is encouraging its ecosystem to be developing applications on. So first is DeFi. Like most of the blockchains, Near is very much focusing on creating different kinds of applications for decentralized finance. This can be maybe exchanges, wallets, lending protocols, etc. Then we have digital cooperatives. And here it's just the fancy terminology for DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, which are essentially groups of people that are coming together for a common vision, with using rules bounded by the blockchain, to make decisions and coordinate. MetricsDAO as well, we are a DAO, so we're also operating in a decentralized way. You can check out how we're operating actually if you join our Discord server, because we do have our discussions live and publicly available. And another key piece of its ecosystem we're focusing on is creator economy. How can we enable more creators to be joining the blockchain ecosystem? Again, like here, big focus on onboarding. How can we onboard these creators? How can we make it easy for them to, let's say, in this case, create their own NFTs? So Near does have this platform called Stout, which enables really easy NFT creation, enabling any new creator who has never experienced blockchain before, who has never interacted with it, or has never had any sort of developer experience, to easily create their own NFT. So it has a bunch of different marketplaces, and it also often will host physical art galleries for Near NFTs. So these are the 3 kind of key focuses on where the ecosystem is. So DeFi, DAOs, and creator economy. There's also this thing called AstroDAO, and actually looks specifically into the DAOs. Because AstroDAO is like the key DAO maker and such. So it's basically developed an infrastructure for new DAOs to be created on top of Near. And some of the other key infrastructure solutions that we have seen, other than Aurora, which enables Near to talk with Ethereum, Octopus, Flux, Polymetal, Pagada, and China. We don't have time to delve into them deep today, but if you're interested, do check them out, because they are as well key pieces of Near infrastructure and Near ecosystem. Right. Also, one of the things that Near does have is different regional hubs. So if you're interested, let's say, in connecting with other Near people in your community, you can check out if Near does have a regional hub. in your region. There is hubs in every single continent, other than Antarctica, of course. And yeah, many countries. As well, it does have different ecosystem plans for different as well kind of verticals that it's in particular focusing on. So if you have an idea of a project that you want to create on year that is in kind of in a line where NEAR is heading to, where it's focused on, then and which would help to further develop the NEAR ecosystem, there are certain funds that you can tap into and build your project on. Yeah, so and also again, the community, since it is blockchain for every single blockchain project, including MetricsDAO, including NEAR community, is a critical piece, and it is very much community driven. There's a lot of ways for people to get involved in governance processes and actually shape the future of the protocol. If you do want to check out deeper into what sort of projects are currently building on NEAR, you can go over to Awesome NEAR website, which actually has a list of different projects that are building at the moment in the NEAR ecosystem. So you can explore them, see, maybe if there are certain, applications that you might want to use. And generally, it's one of the best ways to actually understand the NEAR blockchain, to actually interact with the different ecosystems and the different projects they're currently building in the on top of the protocol. Okay. So another actually here is the piece I wanted to showcase you the different things that here we can actually find in the Awesome NEAR website, because again, also it can give us a good idea of the numbers of where the different projects are focusing on, and so we can see that infrastructure. There's a lot of infrastructure solutions. There's a bunch of different wallets that are building on NEAR, different bridges as well. We do have a lot of exchanges too, and lending protocols, stable price. So there's a bunch of different decentralized finance solutions. We even have things that actually are connecting gaming and kind of decentralized finance, which is called Sweat Economy. Maybe you've heard of these things like Sweatcoin or like the projects that built in Solana that are actually looking into how can we earn money, how can we earn crypto through walking. So NEAR as well has its own solution for that called Sweat Economy. Paris is a big marketplace specifically for creating trading on a digital collectibles. So digital collectibles basically are NFTs. So again, NEAR is focusing quite a lot on NFTs, and we did say that MetricsDAO is a big thing here too, because it's what really allows. This is where most of the DAOs that were built on NEAR were built from. They were built using MetricsDAO, which is kind of this infrastructure solution that allows you to create a DAO in a very, very fast way. Also, we have some other projects in the ecosystem that are quite interesting. So we have this thing called Human Guild, which awards grants specifically for gaming projects. Then there's NEAR Week, which is a decentralized Web3 news and community platform. And then we also have TangDAO, where essentially it's focusing on supporting artists and actually creating their generative art projects, or their own, or launching their own NFT collections. And essentially there, if the artist is working with TangDAO and is getting support from it, then the sales of the royalties from their NFT collection is going to go into the treasury. So a percentage, not the whole fee of the sale, but this allows them to support the DAO and continue providing these professional services to onboard more artists into understanding how they can actually leverage their skills and bring an art and actually bring it over to the blockchain system. Also, we have some social projects. A big one is called Unchained Fund. So they actually did an amazing work in collecting money and actually bringing it over to the people that are currently suffering from the war in Ukraine. So this was built actually on here, and by the MetricsDAO's infrastructure that we actually just touched upon. But yeah, so it's there are some other interesting projects that actually are specifically working on how we actually create more impact using the blockchain technology. There's also some interesting community DAOs in the ecosystem. So there is a marketing DAO, which is specifically focusing on funding, marketing focused projects. Then we have Creative DAO, specifically focusing on funding creative projects and also developer governance and funding specifically developer focused projects. Here, just also wanted to highlight that it kind of shows that there's a lot of different opportunities to get involved in your ecosystem, no matter if you are a developer, if you are an analyst, if you are a creative, or if you are a marketeer. There's space for different kinds of skill sets. There's actually pools, funding, supporting, projects and people coming from different backgrounds. Okay, so essentially now let's just look into what are the different people that are key in the Near ecosystem and how they can benefit from it. So for end users, what they will perceive using Near, and then in comparison to other blockchains, is that it is more flexible. It has more progressive UX, and then generally better onboarding. So just the experience of getting onto those apps, especially if you never used much of the blockchain before, it's better than most of the other blockchains. Then for businesses, their benefit is customized. And they can customize advanced permissions for users into their apps and receive a vast toolkit for simple app imposition. And for validators that are kind of the ones that are behind creating that consensus mechanism in the ecosystem, is that they can join in without advanced software due to the sharded nature of the system. So they can earn protocol tokens by validating transactions in the popular, quickly growing ecosystem. So here, with some blockchains, actually you need to have huge computing power. You need to have really crazy software in order to be able to join as a validator. But you're actually makes it you're lower than to actually join as a validator and earn networks tokens. Than how it is in a lot of the other blockchains. But one of the picks as well here, when it comes to Near tokens, is that it is a key part of Near. It is every blockchain will have its own token, including Near, and the token is used to process transactions, to store data, to run validator nodes for staking the token, and as well as for governance. Because if you want to participate in the governance here, you will need to have some tokens. So we can use these tokens in order to actually submit your worlds as if where you imagine the network growing. Right. So at the moment, looking into some of the nodes that we do have 84 nodes validating the network. So they can see how many Near they actually had to stake in order to validate it. So we actually, I do have to say that you need to stake a lot of Near. And you can see actually how much everyone has staked using Explorer.near. But you can see that the ones that stake the most have staked hundreds of thousands, if you convert it to dollars in Near in order to participate in the validation process. There are people that have staked less, or projects that have staked less, but that still would be, thousands of dollars. So if you do want to participate in validating the network, you will need to have thousands of Near staked for it to happen. Yeah, and if you do want to learn a bit more about essentially how to develop a near and how to run your own node. If you're something that you're interested in, if you do have the money to stake, then you can actually go to near developer docs and you can actually see all the different documentation that is out there to support you. That's generally this is the best way for you to understand how you can get involved as a developer or as a node validator. It's just to go to these to the website, the official website of Near, book developer docs, and just read the documentation there to understand how to get involved. Then when it comes to the communities, I did mention that Near has communities in various places. And if you want to connect with the community, if there is a community in your country, then obviously it's a great way to understand who is building in your country, maybe some of your interesting projects that are currently happening, also through connecting with the local builders in understanding what they're doing, how they're working, how they're thinking about Near. Through having those conversations, you can develop yourself a great understanding of the ecosystem. So just looking into the different countries that are out there, we can see Spain, Sri Lanka, India. So you can actually find this in the Near website. Different communities are currently building or having their presence in a country. So you can check it out for yourself and see if there's a community of Near people in your own country. Right. So we are close to finish, and we just have a few slides left. But before we actually, wrap up, wanted to mention, some of the key innovations. So we actually covered some key things there, but just to remind you as well, is that sharding mechanism is a very important part of what Near has brought into the blockchain ecosystem. It's the key behind its consensus. It's the key that allows it to scale. Then we also saw from the Near wallet that it actually can have human readable account IDs. So you can actually create, your wallet as a name. Then we have the Rainbow Bridge, which allows, Near tokens to be transferred onto Ethereum, etc. It allows us to connect Near and Ethereum. Then another key part here, which actually connects with the onboarding and mass adoption, is that Near does allow the gas to be prepaid. And this also ensures that, maybe if user doesn't have Near yet, you can still use the application without needing to pay for the transactions, because actually developers can choose to prepay the gas for users if they want. Yes, these are some of the key innovations that Near has brought. Also, when it comes to, if you are a developer, if you want to build on Near, so key here is that thanks to us, assembly, but you can also write smart contracts in JavaScript or Rust, which is essentially a modification of JavaScript. So generally, a lot of the developers that I met, they would be using Rust in order to develop on Near. Right. So before we wrap up as well, let's look into the future and let's actually see where the Near blockchain is heading and what we can expect to see in the future. So first and foremost, scalability improvements in Near is working really hard. How can it actually improve its sharding mechanism? How can we actually make it even more efficient than it currently is? And how can we actually make it more secure as more and more players and more projects are coming in and building on Near? Then the other key piece here is that Near is constantly making sure that its developer experience is getting better, that its platform is getting more flexible and extensible, and that it's creating a better developer experience. And where developers can create in an easier way, and where they are more supported. There's still work there for sure, but there's still space for improvement. And another key piece is interoperability. So there's a lot of ongoing work at the moment happening on how can we actually ensure that the blockchain is interoperable, meaning that it can actually have a seamless communication with other blockchains. We actually looked into one of the key solutions here called Aurora and Rainbow Bridge, but there are some other solutions that in the moment are in works to further improve its interoperability and ensure that it can communicate with other blockchains, because what we want ultimately in the blockchain space is for the different blockchains to be able to communicate together. That's the main way to mass adoption. Then another key piece, as I mentioned, is decentralized. Does have a decentralized governance mechanism, and you can actually get involved in it through staking your tokens. So there will be more kind of ways on how people can get involved. There's going to be improvements in terms of the governance and coordination processes, and a lot of these stakeholders as well are going to propose some new solutions that we have not seen before. And again, since it is decentralized, and everyone, including you, can find ways to get involved and to actually submit your feedback and potentially get your ideas implemented into the network. Okay, so what we've seen today has been an introduction of what's going to be a course later. So today we had a primer to the Near blockchain. We had a primer to understand the key technologies, the key innovations, how it differs from other blockchains, and seeing some of its ecosystem and what's really important when it comes to looking into different applications that Near has developed in its ecosystem. However, we will be having a course coming out which will have deeper information, which will explain these technologies further, where we will get more use cases. So if you're interested in getting involved into that course, it's completely free. We've just shared a form with you in the chat. So that will be a great way for you to really become an expert in here. So we'll have some analytic challenges for you available. So if you are, let's say, interested in continuing with Near and getting involved in Near through the analytics route, there will be opportunities for you to do that. But the best way is to actually join the course. By joining the course as well, you will be getting some Xmetric tokens, which will give you some special access abilities, and will also provide you with some reputation within the DAO. And as well, ensure to join our Discord server, because in that Discord server, you will be seeing a special channel called Near, where you can continue asking questions, interacting with each other, and connecting with other people that are at the moment learning and getting involved in Near. So do enjoy to join our Discord server. It would be great if actually a link to our Discord server is shared here in the chat. So other than that, we do have other things that you can do within the DAO and other exciting courses coming up, like Solana and Cosmos, and you can already sign up to them. They are coming out during the next weeks. They also are free courses, and if you are interested in Web3 Analytics 101, live and asynchronous courses, do join them, and you can do that by heading to blog.MetricsDAO.xyz/101. Okay. Also just wanted to quickly say something here, is that when you are going to be typing in your wallet address in the form to ensure that you do have your Polygon wallet address and that you actually choose Polygon mainnet there. So to ensure that the tokens are going to be transferred into the Polygon mainnet. Other than that, when you do join the Discord server, again, I would really encourage you to join the Discord server. Do ensure to go to start your journey, connect your wallet, and this is going to actually showcase the bot that we're using called Guild, that you actually have attended the webinar, that you have signed up to the course, and that you actually have the right token, which we're going to transfer to you in order to get special access to the channels. So do ensure to do that, to go to that starter journey when you are joining our Discord server. But I do want to highlight to you that we are doing the token transfers manually. Now we are going to be transferring you the badge manually. So once you fill in the form, the badge is not going to come straight to your wallet. It is going to take a few days. So do check. I would say on Friday. And then ensure that you do go to the start your journey and then connect your wallet, because by then the badge should be there and you should be able to access all the different channels that are only accessible to people that join our courses and webinars. So yeah, would really, really love to see you there. And when you do go into our Discord server, do introduce yourselves so that we know who you are. We'd love to learn about you, because we are a community, and yeah, it's we want to talk with you and we want to know who you are. Right. So that's it then. Thank you everyone for attending. It has been really lovely having all of you here today. We are hosting these webinars every Monday and Wednesday at noon. So these webinars are generally around different ecosystems, as well as we're going to have a webinar on Referee Analytics 101 this Wednesday. So if you are interested as well in learning more about what is that world of analytics, what is the difference between normal analytics and Referee analytics, where that Referee piece is coming in, and if you should even consider becoming a Referee analyst, this is going to be a great opportunity for you. And we're also going to have a live program starting in a week for Referee Analytics 101. So if you're not sure if you want to join a program, is this the right path for you, this webinar is going to be a great opportunity for you to make that decision. Great. Then thank you everyone for attending. I really hope to see you in the Discord server later. So have a great day or evening ahead, depending where you are at, and hope to see you in our future courses, webinars, and the Discord community. So the Discord link actually has just been shared in the chat. Thank you everyone, and bye-bye.